Now recognize Mr. Alford from the great state of Missouri for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member, for holding this. Mr. Mulligan, would you like to respond to the Ranking Member? Anything you'd like to say after that last comment?
Yeah, thank you for your question and that opportunity. Policy needs to be analyzed carefully. I've done that for my entire career. I'm not a young man. I've been doing that a long time. And, you know, the policies may have the same label, but different things. They're different policies. And policies in the Trump 2 administration, I analyzed the Trump 2 policies. And the policies that we had in the platform in Milwaukee are not the same policies as before, and they need a different analysis. It would be dishonest to do it any other way.
Okay. Very good. As you know, this committee really stands as a staunch advocate for Main Street America under the leadership of our chairman. That's what this has been about since I've been on this committee. I think all of us up here are firmly committed to make sure that Main Street America is fairly, justly supported, that we help small businesses start and grow. If we do not maintain our champion attitude for Main Street interests, we risk losing the small businesses that are really integral to the fabric of America. The last 4 years, small businesses have been under attack from an administration determined to crush Main Street under the boot of big government. In the previous administration, federal agencies finalized over 1,000 regulations, costing taxpayers a whopping $1.8 trillion in compliance. That's not a small number, $1.8 trillion. And this is the same as the entire federal discretionary budget for fiscal year 23. It is unacceptable that federal agencies can put this burden on the taxpayers of this country, and that's why the taxpayers spoke when they elected Donald J. Trump, who appointed Administrator Loeffler, to take the SBA in a new direction. In just the first 100 days, reforms from the SBA Office of Advocacy have saved small businesses more than $48 billion in regulatory cost. Thank you. Thank you for that. And since taking office, the President has saved over $111 billion in regulatory costs. That is a savings of about $325 per American, money that instead of being wasted in useless compliance to support bureaucratic bloat, will stay in the pockets of Americans. Dr. Mulligan, the Advocacy Office does exist as the voice of small businesses to make sure that any bureaucrats in the Beltway must consider Main Street when creating regulations. What current regulations are you hearing about from small businesses across the country that really need attention the most?
Thank you for your question. There are so many, as you mentioned, getting into the
Give me your top three.
We have a most wanted list that we put on our website. The OSHA heat rule that I mentioned in my testimony is in there. The requirements for nursing home staffing is another one that's in there. The filing of quarterly payroll forms is another one on our most wanted list. It could be annual or something we should look into, making it annual instead of quarterly.
I am also on the Appropriations Committee, subcommittee for FSGG, and I know the Office of Advocacy requested an additional $4 million. This is not an appropriations hearing, I understand that, but that could not be included in the House mark this go-around. Can you please speak to what advocacy would be able to do for the taxpayer with additional funding? And we have 40 seconds.
Yeah, thank you for your question. We are a small office. There are thousands of regulations, and making sure that we follow through and not just in identifying, but follow through and removing those regulations that need to be removed, reform the ones that need to be reformed. It would be helpful to have another additional staff than just a few dozen that we have.
Well, I'd like to have a continued conversation with you and Dave Joyce, our subcommittee chair, on this. Let's make that happen. Thank you so much for your service, for looking out for Main Street America. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentlemen.